welcome to H2O Street. This is Martyn reporting for H2O Global News, and I'm talking to Chris Drover, CTO and co-founder of Zwitterco. Their new filtration technology uses some clever chemistry and membranes to treat wastewater. Today, we're going to find out how it works. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hi, Martin.
Great to see you. So to kick off, could you give us some background about yourself and Zwitterco?
Sure. So, as you mentioned before, my name's Chris Drover. I'm one of the co-founders and the chief technology officer of Zwitterco. Before I got involved with Zwitterco, I've been in the sort of water industry and membranes, more specifically, going back through, I worked on some forward osmosis technology for 5 or 6 years. And prior to that, I kind of came up through chemistry, physics, and chemical engineering in graduate school. So my background is in materials and chemistry, and I've been working on membranes since about 2012.
Excellent. So the next logical question is, how does your technology work?
Sure. So as you may guess from the name of the company, Zwitterco, we use a type of chemistry called Zwitterions. And so these are special organic molecules that have both positive and negative charges in the same molecule. And so this gives them a bunch of very unique properties. Most significant for what we like to use them for is they're incredibly hydrophilic. And so this means they have a very, very strong chemical interaction with water. They hydrate very, very easily, and they form surfaces that are very, very resistant to absorption of oil or absorption of other organic materials. And so what Zwitterco has managed to do is use these molecules to create copolymers and other very functionalized chemistry that we can build membranes out of. And this was not an easy task. As I mentioned, Zwitterions interact very strongly with water, and given the choice, they'll usually happily dissolve in water. And so it's a little bit of an engineering and material science challenge to make a material that you can work with, to make a membrane out of that's stable, that'll last for years. But that's kind of the foundation of our technology. And so using these materials, we're able to make these type of membranes that have incredible resistance to organic fouling. And so they really excel where there's a lot of oil or grease or protein or other types of organic contaminants in the water that would otherwise foul or, to put another way, kind of block the flow of water through a conventional membrane.
Right, I mean, you sort of partially answered this one, but what types of wastewater can it clean, and what substances, more specifically, does it target?
Yeah, this is a great question. So we're really focused on some of the hardest unsolved challenges in wastewater treatment. These are waters where conventional filtration options don't really work very well, and in some cases, they've been considered unfilterable for many years. These are waste sources like the wastewater that comes out of anaerobic digesters, or the mixed sort of milk and cleaning waste that might come from a dairy plant, or landfill leachate. So these are all examples of wastewaters where there's often high levels of oil and grease. Membranes have not traditionally been viewed as a viable option for treating those wastewaters. And we're able to not only successfully treat those wastewaters, but also as part of an integrated process, give the end user options for either wastewater reuse, or in some cases to recover what you previously thought of as contamination. Once you kind of concentrate it up, some of that can be very valuable as a byproduct that the end user may be able to sell into the market and create a new revenue stream.
Yeah, that's certainly nowadays with the new buzzword about circular economies. Mm-hmm. And so they're becoming very important. So how, just to give it a bit more specifics about how separating substances from water can promote a circular economy.
Yeah, so let's we'll talk about the digesters for a moment. So anaerobic digesters are a really key part of the kind of entire really food chain, right? So a lot of our waste from either farms or from consumers ends up in anaerobic digesters sort of after the wastewater treatment plant. And in particular, Europe has really been ahead of the curve on installing these, but the US is coming quickly. The basic idea of the digester is to let bacteria digest all the organic waste, and you generate some biogas, which is renewable, but you still get the water fraction. It's still quite dirty. So we have a couple great projects that are online and running now in North America where we'll take that digestate, We'll put it through our superfiltration membrane. This removes all the proteins, all the fats, oils, greases, all the long chain and kind of sticky organic material. It doesn't completely get down to drinking water quality. It's not a desalination membrane, and so there could still be some other material in there. But we, working with our integrator partners, have developed this process where we'll go through a couple stages of membrane filtration, sort of starting with the superfiltration to remove all the very hard to deal with organics. We'll concentrate those up. Then they'll have a reverse osmosis. They'll concentrate some other things. And the net result is we're able to not only produce clean water that can either is, perfectly safe to discharge or can be reused if there's a need for it, but those concentrate streams are very high in nitrogen, they're very high in phosphorus, and they're actually able to sell those as liquid fertilizer that's organic because it's not coming from a synthesis plant. So that's organic liquid fertilizer that goes directly back to the farming community that in many cases created the manure that's going to the digester in the first place. So circular is the right descriptor for what we're doing there.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be the modern way of doing things, and I'm all for that. So just to move on, Zwitterco invests a lot of resources into R&D. Why do you feel this is important for you and Jen?
Yeah, so when we look at the technology, I mean, we've got our superfiltration membrane that's been out on the market for a couple of years now, but we really see a lot of potential to create other classes of membranes with this chemistry. I think for viewers that are familiar with RO, the first thin film polyamide RO membranes, hit the market, and over the years that followed, they started to specialize. You started to see a seawater type RO membrane and a brackish water and a low energy and a high recovery. And so as you work on your chemistry platform, you can kind of make versions of it that excel at different tasks. And we see very much the same for the zwitterionic chemistry. So we're working on membranes that have different pore sizes, some that are even smaller pores and can separate sugars. And, then you have like larger pores where you'd like to have high flow and maybe use them in bioreactors and sort of other types of technology. So what we've seen from the chemistry platform is really, one membrane is a great start, but we think that the future will have a lot of different zwitterionic membranes covering many different use cases and just continuing to expand the number of industries that we can serve with this technology.
Yeah, certainly a lot of flexibility in there. So I look forward to seeing that develop over the coming years. So just one more question. Your business model sets you out as a technology provider. Could you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so Zwitterco tries really hard to focus on what we think we have to offer that's special, which is our technology, the technology platform, and our ability to kind of take that technology from the lab and commercialize it and get it out into the hands of users. What we try to partner with is sort of the rest of the equation. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to be trying to offer the pumps and the tanks and everything that sort of are needed. There are some really fantastic engineering integrators in the world, and we're partnered with several of them to deliver those solutions. So we think everybody wins where, we can focus on what we think we have that's unique. And we form these really amazing partnerships with integrators that have the process expertise, or have target markets where they have a presence and they understand those problems. So we have a public partnership with Mott Corporation and their subsidiary Digested Organics, and those when we're speaking about the anaerobic digesters. So we are delivering those anaerobic digestion projects in North America in cooperation with Mott and Digested Organics. And we have a couple other partnerships, I'd say, that are in earlier stages, and we'll be excited to talk more about that later in the year. Technology and process and products that are a little outside the risk profile for the larger players. And so when you think about a company like Zwitterco, that's got this new technology, we're to some extent, we're all in on this. We really see the potential, and we're very committed to taking this technology and commercializing it and bringing it to the market. And so we're able to focus entirely on that and, really start to push new products out into the market. And that's something I think startups are have a unique advantage in, is that focus and that commitment to the innovative solutions, because there's very little in it for us to try to recreate what others are making. We need that competitive advantage to go gain a foothold in the market. And so I think that startups play a really important role in giving talented and entrepreneurial people and teams the resources to sort of go take a chance on a new way of doing things. And then of course ultimately that's got to be successful in the market. So some of them are and some of them are not, but I think there's a great track record of really innovative new technology coming to market through a startup approach.
Excellent. So I mean, just to finish off, what is your vision for the future of Zwitterco?
Yeah, so I mean, we talked a little bit about the technology development, which is obviously a key part. We're excited to launch. We have a couple new products we're working on, and so over the next 6 to 12 months, we'll be making some announcements on some new products that'll be available. And aside from that, we're really looking to start to expand our reach. So we started entirely in the US. We now have some commercial activity picking up in Europe, and also some very interesting leads and projects we're developing in other parts of the world, in Asia and in South America. So I think you'll start to see from Zwitterco both new products and sort of new geographic reach as we try to serve these opportunities in other parts of the world.
That's fantastic. I look forward to seeing that develop over the coming years. So thank you very much, Chris. I've certainly learned a lot from you today. So I'd like to say thank you. Thank you to everyone else for listening. And I hope you all have a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was great talking to you.
Likewise. Thanks.